What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio, Cards and Comics, here today to talk losses. We flex our wins a lot because it looks cool, sounds fun, it's great, but we do take some L's every once in a while. I don't know if I've ever actually gone through this before, but I just kind of wanted to sit down and take a quick scroll through the My Collection feature on Market Movers and go through the worst hits and beatings that I've taken over the since Market Movers came out, really. So dating back, well, I have purchases that predate Market Movers that are in here. So, going back the last 2 years, really, most of these span within the last year or so, but so we're gonna take a quick jog down memory lane. For the purposes of this, it's cards I still own. I can flip over and show you cards that I sold as well. But really, I haven't sold too many for a loss. The ones that I've taken the worst beating on, I'm still holding out hope to hold on to. But I think there's some interesting talking points here, and I think it's helpful. One, you should be tracking this stuff, whether you use Market Movers or Card Ladder or an Excel spreadsheet or whatever. I do think it's important to track what you bought and sold when, how much you paid for it, how much you got back out of it, and have some method to know where everything currently sits. Market Movers has a My Collection tool. Most cards are in there, at least if you're talking ultra modern basketball, baseball, football. There's not a ton of hockey in there. There's some vintage, but not a lot of vintage. And really niche stuff is still working its way into the product. But most mainstream stuff, most of the stuff that we talk about is in there. So before we dive in, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. Market Movers link down there if you want to check out Market Movers for the My Collection feature. You do need to be a pro member. You need to higher tier for My Collection. And honestly, when I first signed up for Market Movers came out. I did not sign up for it for a few months. What actually pushed me over the edge to get it back when I first signed up was the My Collection feature. That's exactly what I was looking for. Something to track pretty much everything. I don't know that I've really shown this off a ton on the channel, but essentially you can enter in, whatever your card is, how many you own, the purchase date, how much you paid for it, and then it'll track, what the last sale is, what it's currently at, net value, profit, whatever. And then when you go to sell it, you can mark when you sold it. I'll show that in a second. You can mark when you sold it, how much you got for it, if you paid fees on it. I usually just automatically deduct the fees and put in what I sold it for after profit or after fees and stuff. So, but yeah, let's dive in and take a look at some losses. Part of the other reason why I wanted to do this, I think tomorrow's video, I sold a really big card. If you were listening to Dakota's live stream, this has been out there, but I sold the Vlad Blue Refractor. Anyone that's been following the channel for the last month or so has heard me talk about that or seen it. And I did really well on that card. And tomorrow's video, I'm going to talk about that. But just because I did really good on that one doesn't mean everything that I do really good on. So we're going to go through some of them here. Like I said, I have not taken that hard of a beating as some people have for sure. And to be honest, part of the reason for that is I got lucky. As simple as that. When card prices got out of control in February, March, and April, I was spending a lot of money on comic books and grading Marvel cards and ripping Marvel Universe. A lot of my money was going towards that stuff, not towards buying cards when the prices spiked up. So I bought some stuff, and you'll see by the dates, that's the stuff that I took some of the worst beatings on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and work our way down this list really quickly. And I don't know that I'm going to have story time about every one of these. There's not, like I said, a ton to go over, but I at least just wanted to talk about these. As one, it helps me reflect back on what I did and to make sure that I try not to repeat those mistakes. And then in some cases, you just get unlucky. The first one is a little unlucky and a little stupid on my part. This is Ben Simmons Optic Psa 10. I purchased this back on 7/28/2020. Stupid on my part is because I bought at basically the peak of the market. They were still in the playoffs in the bubble. The Sixers looked good. They had won their first round, I think. I don't remember the exact specifics, but regardless, they were one of the favorites. I thought Ben Simmons Optic was terribly underpriced compared to his Prism, so I pulled the trigger on one for $250. I think I am the second highest sale ever of that card. I think one sold for like $260 or $275. Maybe a couple sold, but mine's way up there. Literally as soon as I got it, I think I bought it right as the playoffs were going. I don't remember exactly the dates. He hurt his knee, was out for the rest of the playoffs. The Sixers tanked. His prices crashed. And then the rest of the prices crashed. This is a perfect example of I bought high. Mistake number one. Mistake number two, you can see this card's all the way down to $65 right now. Like, what in the hell? I held this card for too long. This was a case of I had opportunities to get out of this card at $150. I could have eaten $100 loss and moved on and got the $150 back out of it. I had that opportunity plenty of times. Did not take it. What happened? The rest of the market went down 6 months later. My arrogant ass, said, no. We're holding, baby. I'm not taking a loss on this. I don't take losses. Whoops. So definitely missed opportunity, not just dumping this and getting out of it when it dropped down to about $150. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. If I would have had a crystal ball, I would have never bought it in the first place. But it is what it is. The big lesson that I took away from this one and a lot of the other ones is when this stuff goes sideways, you need to take a really hard look in the mirror. By the time we got around, it won't be on here because it didn't happen in market where it was a star stock one, but I've talked about it before. The Deshaun Watson thing. When I took the hit on that, I just ripped the Band-Aid off and got out of it. This wasn't as big of a hit, but now I am really stuck holding this thing because I really don't want to sell it for $65. That feels way too cheap. So now I'm saying, like, can this thing at least get back over $100 again to try to move it? I was hoping for a trade would bump it and then I could get out of it, but I don't know what's going on with this one. If it gets back up over $100, I will probably look to try to get out of it. I've been carrying it around in my case. If someone was interested in it at a show or something, I would probably just cash out and sell it or trade it. But I'm not like desperate to move it or anything. So there she sits. But I have a feeling whenever that one sells, that'll be a rough one. Right below that, we see Odell Beckham Jr. PSA 10 Topps Chrome. Purchase date, which is important here, 8/19/2020. So August 19th, 2020, right before the season starts. This was me getting caught up in the hype of, oh my God, position players. The fantasy football players are coming. They're buying up all the position players. This is going to be great. We need running backs. We need wide receivers. I was a little skeptical of it, but not skeptical enough to buy some. I also thought, well, if that's the case, Odell Beckham stuff was way too cheap compared to everybody else. Maybe I was looking at it with my orange colored glasses on. Could be. And, you know, he came out. I had opportunities to probably break even on this card. And I was like, I'm only into it for $80. I'll let it ride. Of course, he tears his ACL and then I immediately go upside down on it. So I was holding it. This past spring, I had another opportunity to get out of it at a profit, actually. There was, for the briefest of moments, which I almost missed this, there was a rumor he was going to go to the Patriots, and his prices spiked for like 3 days. And I had a window there that I could have got out of this for like $100 to $120, and I didn't take it. So now it's all the way back down. I did not realize this has dropped all the way back down to $30 again, which, I mean, actually seems kind of too cheap. Does seem cheap for PSA 10 Odell Beckham. I know it's Topps Chrome base, but these are pretty low pop, actually. At least they used to be. So at this point, I'm just hoping he has a good week or something, and then I could try to move this. I would hope to at least just break even on this card. I think if he would happen to come out and actually play pretty well, that this could spike back up again to at least I could break even on it. We'll see. We will see. The next two I am lumping together. Donovan Mitchell and Donovan Mitchell. This was stupid buying decision by me and unlucky. Once again, bought while the market was still coming down on base cards in April. This was a play for the playoffs. I would really like to go to the Marvel What If verse and say, what would this card have done, and what would the Jazz have done if Donovan Mitchell would not have turned his ankle literally the day that these got delivered to me. I forget the exact day, but I bought these, and quite frankly, the day that they came was the day that he hurt his ankle and was basically done for the rest of the season and came back for the playoffs. I think if he was 100% healthy and Conley was healthy, they might have went to the NBA Finals, and then this is all a whole different story. But you can see I took a bath on these cards. $450 for the base Prism, currently at $238, down 47%. Optic PSA 10 bases I bought for $225 a piece. They are currently at $123 a piece for a 45% loss. This is one I think we'll see. I'm hoping that this goes back up again. Either I don't think it goes up by that much by the start of next season, but if he plays well and the Jazz play well again, his stuff will start to get hyped, or I can hold for the long haul if he eventually demands a trade or something like that. But I do really like Donovan Mitchell. It does feel like his stuff was still too cheap. I should probably buy more actually and average down, but I don't know. I would probably look at like some color or like a hollow or something like that if I was to buy more Donovan Mitchell. I actually carry these around in my case. I have a row of stuff like that I would 100% trade, and another row of stuff that I'm like, you could look, but I don't know. I'd have to really like something in your case. And these are in that row. I am not in a hurry to move these because I do still have faith in the player. So, yeah, bad timing and bad luck. What are you going to do? Made a bad call. Optic Purple Marant. Bought right the day before Christmas Eve. $540. Currently at $343, down 36%. This was another case of bought at the peak of the market right before the season started. I absolutely adore this card. I actually would not sell this even if it got back to profitable. I'm a big Marant guy, and I'm a sucker for Optic color. This is pretty low pop, and it is a sexy looking card. People have seen it on the channel a bunch. Sure, I'm not happy that I'm upside down on it, but frankly, I don't care because I have faith in this card long term, and I have faith in Ja long term, which I don't usually say about a ton of different NBA players. Sure, would it not be nice if it was in the green? Absolutely. But it is what it is. But this was definitely a case of probably don't buy stuff right before the season starts when the players' values are already inflated. And we can see that that's happened a couple different times. Bought literally right as the season was starting. Beckham bought right as the season was starting. And Beckham again. Here's more Odell Beckham Jr. See above. These were bought at around the same time I bought this. I bought a lot of these. A lot of 6 for $120, about $20 per. You can see right there, average pay $21 per. But this is just base Prism raw. I was hoping to get some grading candidates out of this back when I bought these, and none of them are gradable. They're like star stock Bs probably. But they are currently down to $13 a card for a 35% hit. Once again, everything we talked about Beckham up above apply to this purchase as well. Same exact thing. Same thing applies for the exit strategy. Hopefully he gets hot and then I can move them in season. If these get back to just even, I would probably look to sell them, even though Beckham is a Brown. It's not Brown's colored jersey. You know, he's in his Giants jersey. I am a big Beckham fan. For fantasy football reasons. He won me a ton of money in DFS on a particular week back when he played for the Giants. And I've always been a big fan of him since then because I needed him to go psycho. And I said, if you go psycho, I will buy your jersey. And he went psycho and won me a pretty decent sized GPP for multiple thousands of dollars. And I immediately went on Fanatics and bought his jersey. So I actually have his jersey as a Giant and as a Brown because I was super excited when the Browns got him too because I was a big Beckham fan already because of that. So it is what it is. I would definitely look to move those the second he has a good week in the season. At this point with these, with the Beckham stuff specifically, I've sat on it this long now. I might as well wait for the season to start to see what happens. If he gets re-injured or whatever and it goes to the basement, it is what it is. I'll roll the dice and risk the upside to see if I can at least break even on it. But who knows? Maybe I'm falling into a trap there. Luka Select Premier. This one hurts. Once again, bought still when the market was pretty high in April. Obviously, the base market continued to come down. I actually feel a little okay about this one. It sucks that it's down $400. I bought this for $1,200 on 418. Last sale was $800. I still believe in this card just because it's Luka. His Select Premier is still pretty low pop. There's only about 600 on there. Maybe at some point in time that matters. Maybe the demand for Select lessens because of what Panini has done with Select with the current year, with all the retail releases and stuff and people kind of souring on the product. I do think court size and field levels are still cards that you absolutely want to own. And older Select, obviously they're not injecting more cards into that. That's printed and gone. But I do think the shine has come off Select because of what Panini has done with it, making it retail and hobby. I think that was a massive mistake, honestly. If they really wanted to print another product, they should have just made a new product and less Select as the hobby only product. It was really gaining a lot of steam, and then they literally ruined it. It's still a great looking product, but from a I want to run out and buy a bunch of it perspective, there's just so many parallels now. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous what they did to that product. But I do still semi-believe in the Select Premier Luka. A lot of that is just because I'm a big believer in Luka. So this is one at this point, honestly. If I could, I don't want to take a loss on this card because it's Luka. So I'm willing to ride the waves with this one. That being said, if I got back to even on this card or in the green, I would probably look to move it for something else. This gets back to maybe I got a little too cute here with getting caught up in the pop report and not factoring in the demand side. And I think at the point of time that I made the decision to buy it, I felt good about it. This is a don't confuse the outcome with the decision type thing. I believe my process was sound for the purchase, other than the fact that the market was still going down overall. But I didn't buy Luka at a quick flip. The problem was that I did not see coming was the shine coming off Select because of the retail release. Maybe we knew retail was coming, but we didn't know how big of a degree it was coming back in April. I honestly don't remember. I don't think we knew yet. I could look because I have videos on it. But I do worry that some of the shine has come off, at least the middle to lower end Select. Field level and club level, I still feel pretty good. Or field level and court side, I still feel pretty good about. But I don't know. Juan Soto, Topps Flagship. This is one where I got cute. Way too cute. I bought these last year for $195 a piece. I bought them at the same time. This is when he went absolutely ridiculous last year. This was a case of his stuff was flying off the boards and prices were spiking. And this was on my slabs. And the price had not changed yet, so I ran on and grabbed 2 of them. Cool. I had plenty of opportunities to get out of this card at a nice profit and was like, nah, I'm going to hold it. This is going to keep going up. Like, these were $300 a piece cards, $325 a piece cards at one point in time. And now they're all the way back down to 140 again. And the pop on these is astronomical. And once again, this is just strictly a case of I held it too long. It got up there. I do believe in Soto long-term, absolutely. But the fact that this was a top flagship base, and I didn't necessarily, back when I bought it, because it was almost a year ago, actually exactly a year ago, I'm recording this on the 11th, so 1 year, that was my last sale date. But I bought this about a year ago, give or take. I don't remember the exact, let's see. Oh, look at that, 8/12. The day this video posts, I bought this exactly 1 year ago. One for 175, one for 215. I had plenty of opportunities to sell this card for a massive profit, and I didn't take it because I got greedy. Simple as that. That'll lead into what we're going to talk about tomorrow with the Vlad. But once again, I got cute with this. The money was there. It was a Topps paper base. I didn't have my whole mantra of you could buy the cards back later, just sell it and move out of it, and you could always get it back if you really want it, especially with a top flagship base. Live and learn. Lesson learned. Just a couple more here. I don't want this video to be too terribly long. Marant base Revolution. See again. Bought right before the season started. Not down too bad on this, 25%. I do like Revolution as a set. It's a nice looking card. Looks cool on the desk. Not mad about it. MPJ, red, white, and blue. This is another case of I got cute. I got greedy. I could have easily sold this card multiple times for probably $100 to $200 profit. I forget what this topped out at one point in time, but his stuff got pretty hot. Now, I do like MPJ long term. I think he's an interesting angle. He's probably a good buying opportunity right now. I honestly haven't looked at his stuff besides this. So I'll ride this one out. I think he gets a little trendy. This will easily get back into the green again, and I can move it. And then we just get into minor loss stuff. This optic scope, the premium box tray that I bought, is actually not correct. There's multiple missing sales on this because of the way that they were worded. I'm waiting for market movers to get that updated. Last sale on this was actually $850. But that was actually a month ago. It's probably about $1,000 card right now if I had to put a value on it. So, and then just little minor losses here, down $1, down $25 on my LeBron Topps Chrome. Let's go over and look at sold stuff really quick. And once again, I'll keep this fast. So on the sold listings, once again, you could sort by net profit, net loss. So as you can see, my losses aren't too terrible. I took a loss on this DAC Silver. I actually sold this at the National for cash. This was one that I bought on Star Stock and had shipped home. So took a loss there. Kobe White base Prism 9 that I bought in October last year prior to the season starting. Thinking $45 was a good deal on that. Womp womp. Sold it for $15. He sucked last year. OG Anunoby, same thing. Got caught up in the hype last year in the preseason, thinking he was going to be really good. Once again, $5 loss, but it is 25%. Some Tyler Hero base PSA 9s. Took a little loss there. SGA, red, white, and blue. Raw took a small loss there. And a Marant optic base PSA 9. Took a very small loss there. That was one I actually sent in for grading. And then we see some break evens and very small profits. So I haven't sold a ton of stuff for a loss because the biggest thing I've taken losses on, I'm still holding on to, quite honestly. But eventually, this once again, some of this stuff I will absolutely eat a huge loss on once I go to sell it. So I hope this was helpful. If anything else, I took some more lessons away from it, just kind of talking through this stuff. If you do track your data, I just think it's an interesting trip down memory lane to kind of go back and reverse engineer. Like, what were you thinking when you bought this? What was the play? Did you miss area of opportunities to get out of this card? And then not to like fret over it. It happened. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some. You just try to win more than you lose and build a bankroll. The thing is taking lessons that you learn and trying not to make those same mistakes twice. I have been trying to get better about when a card goes way up, just unless it's something really just Luka based and Baker, because that's more of a PC, just get out of it. You know what I mean? Just take the profit and go. Unless it's like a truly all-time great player. I'll use another example of a card I still own. And then we'll wrap this up. This guy right here. Giannis base Prism, BGS 9.5. Min-Gem Plus. I bought this on May 10th, 2019 for $300. The first big card I ever bought. I remember being a nervous wreck waiting to get this thing out of the mailbox when I bought it 2 years ago. This card at one point during the peak of the market was a $4,000 card, I think. Let me look. Let's make Rob mad. Yes, a $5,000 card at one point in time. Multiple $4,000 sales. Easily could have sold this for $4,000. It's a $1,000 card now. Yes, I am still up 236% on it. Cool. But I could have sold it here. This one sticks. This is the one that I always think about when I don't pull the trigger selling something when the prices spike way, 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 way up. This is the point of reference that I have now. I go back and think about that card and say, you could have sold that for $4K. And imagine this was in August of 2020. I did not have the bankroll that I have now. And I don't have like a massive bankroll now either. I'm not going out and buying $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 cards on the regular. In fact, not at all. Most expensive card I ever bought is like $2,000. And that's happened three times. I could have sold this card back in August 2020 during the peak of the market and got such a big boost to my bankroll to go buy other stuff. And once again, we'll talk about this tomorrow in the Vlad video. But what I've come to realize is just getting in and out of this stuff, when you make a real nice return on it, 9 times out of 10, I feel like this is the epiphany that I have had. You're better off to take a good profit on the card, whatever that number is to you. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you what that number is. I don't think that there should be a hard rule. I think it really needs to be by feel. But I would have been much better off, even if this card stayed at $4,000 and never changed. I'd have been better off selling it for the 4K, taking the 4K, and buying things that had higher upside at the time. Now, maybe Giannis would have ended up going on and winning an NBA championship that year. He obviously didn't. The Lakers did. And then maybe that card would have kept going up more and more and more. Who knows? But at the time, I did not have the knowledge that I have now, and the experience that I have now a year later, where I was looking at this with rose-colored glasses, watching this card go up every single week, carrying my portfolio value up, and up, and saying, oh, well, he's like 22, 23 years old, 24 years old, however old Giannis is. He's on his way to the NBA championship. This guy's going to win multiple rings. This card's going to be, the next LeBron Topps Chrome. This thing's going to be $10,000, $15,000 card. Look at it. It's already $4,000. Whoops. Win some, you lose some. But it almost was worth it for that to happen because of the lesson that it taught me. And I have tried to limit making that mistake as much as possible. Again, I did the same thing with Luka Base Prism. I had a Luka Base Prism and a BGS 9.5 True Gem, which I ended up trading at the National. I got good value out of it. I was into it for next to nothing because I bought it in 2019. I think I was into it for $50. But I traded it for the red Tray Cracked Ice and cash. But that was another one. That card was a $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 card at a time. Nowhere near like what this one was. It's not on the same level as this is, but live and learn. But that's why I enjoy kind of doing these memory lane walks. So I encourage you to do the same thing if you have this information. And if you don't have this information, you absolutely should keep track of all this stuff. If you're not, you need to be, because next year, Taxman's coming with 1099s for the following year. You're going to need to know what you bought and sold this stuff for. So start tracking it now. Because not this coming tax season, the following tax season, 1099s are coming from eBay and PayPal. If you go over $600, keep that in mind in the back of your head. You're going to want to know what you bought and sold this stuff for. So, you could deduct the purchase price of the card and only get taxed on the profit, not the whole entire sale. But you're going to need to know what that purchase price was. So, not a tax attorney, not a CPA. Seek your own tax advice. So, this video's gone a lot longer than I thought it was going to, but like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff down below. Tomorrow's video, we will talk about selling the Vlad. Catch you then. Peace.